I'm Gavin, and I'm here to tell you why the drinking age should be lowered. So, 18 is the age of adulthood in the United States, and so once you reach the age of 18, you're legally an adult. So, you think you should be able to make your own decisions about drinking. You know, once you're 18, you can vote, smoke, and you can even join the military. So, why not? Why should you be allowed to drink? All right, so. No matter the drinking age, the traffic fatalities are common among the new drinkers. In America, the 21 to 24-year-olds, those are have the highest percentage of drunk driving crashes. And so since 21 is the legal drinking age, these are the new drinkers. So we can say that any increase in the traffic accidents with 18 to 20-year-olds would be offset with a decrease with the 21 to 24-year-olds. And so we should take a look at other countries. So overall, the rate of drunk driving accidents has been going down. But while our legal drinking age is 21, and in Europeans, as many of them are 18, the Europe's drunk driving accidents have been decreasing more than Americans have. So also, the drinking age of 21 is just ineffective. First off, we can see this because 72% of 12th graders have said that they have had alcohol at some point in their lives. And 17.5% of consumer spending for alcohol is underage. That's in the billions of dollars. So, and last, underage drinking is not a priority for enforcement. About 2 in every 1,000 are arrested for underage drinking. So, if we look at all this information, we can clearly see that there is going to be a population of underage drinkers in America. I say we should lower the drinking age to 19 or 18 and permit those of legal age to consume in a socially controlled environment. The age of 21 is counterproductive. Rebellious teenagers see alcohol as a symbol of adulthood. So you could say it is, so they hide away in their dorm rooms and stuff so because they can't out go and like drink in social places, and it causes them to binge drink. So lowering the drinking age wouldn't be a complete solution to this problem, but I can say that is a step in the right direction.
Hi, I'm Carista, and I'm gathered here today to tell you the negative effects of drinking alcohol under the age of 21. In the United States, the age of 18 is just the beginning of adulthood. Many teenagers are going straight from high school into college and undergoing that transition from child to adult. I think that the age should stay 21 because you need more time to figure out who you are, because in the United States you can't purchase a handgun, rent a car, or adopt a child. So the responsibility that undergoes drinking alcohol should have more time and thought process drinking out because of the negative consequences. Although binge drinking could occur more, if you lower the drinking age, it'll make it easier for high school students and middle school students to have access to alcohol, because the environment will no longer be just strictly in colleges and professional environments. It'll also be in some high schools and even some middle schools. And also the alcohol, part of the reason why it is 21 years old is because that is when your body stops developing completely. Your brain and your body are still developing when you're 18 years. And as soon as you begin to consume alcohol, your brain cells start to die. And also the frontal lobe of the brain, which is part of the reason you have emotional regulation, planning skills, and organization skills, all of that will stop if you start drinking alcohol earlier, before your brain has time to fully develop. And also long-term health effects such as liver disease, kidney disease, and even effects on your growth are all a part of drinking alcohol earlier. Thank you.
I'm Jacob Warner. Lowering the drinking age would decrease the amount of underage drinkers, which would cause illegal activity to go down more. And Plus, young adults can still access alcohol whether the drinking age is lowered or not, so it wouldn't matter if they had, if the drinking age was still up. And statistics show that even if the drinker is like underage, they would still drink as much and drive as they would when they were 21, because newly drunk or newly legal drinkers drink and drive more than a young drinker.
Alright, I'm Luis, and I think we should go against lowering the drinking age, because it would have an increase in the number of accidents on the roads and everything, because more underage drinkers are going to be on the street, on the highways and roads while drunk. It would just increase the percentage. Not lowering the drinking age would reduce traffic accidents and fatalities, and nobody likes fatalities. Lowering the drinking age will irresponsibly allow a greater segment of the population to drink alcohol in the bars and nightclubs, which are not safe environments. And once they leave the premises of they're usually intoxicated, or they still have something. They still have a drink, and once they leave, that would just cause more danger. Lowering the drinking age is not a right. The U.S. District Court ruled on December 22nd, 1978, that lowering the drinking age is reasonably related to the state objective of reducing highway crashes, and that's something that we wouldn't want, because that's something that we would want, because we don't not want more highway crashes than we have already, and by lowering the drinking age, it would just increase the number of crashes, and it will invite more use of like illicit drugs among the underage right now, so under 21-year-olds. A peer-reviewed study from the Journal of Studies of Alcohol and Drugs found that the younger a person begins to drink alcohol, the more likely it is that they will start using other drugs.
Hello, I'm Martha, and I believe that we can consider lowering the drinking age to 18 as a reasonable action, because nearly 50 other countries have already set the minimum drinking age at 18, many even below that. A few countries within the minimum drinking age are Italy, Greece, and China. Out of every 1,000 deaths, Italy has an average of only 0.2 caused by alcohol, Greece at 0.3, and China at 0.6, compared to the United States' current 1.6. In conclusion, we think that drinking age should be considered and lowered to 18, as it's the age of adulthood, and for the United States citizens. Finally, it would also lower the probability of harm for underage drinkers, because many of these illegal drinkers will consume alcohol in public supervised environments compared to when they're drinking in secrecy. With these facts in mind, please consider lowering the drinking age to 18 years of age, and thank you for your time. Our sources were pro/con drinking age, alcohol problems and solutions, and Huffington Post.
Hello, I'm Becca Meese, and I'm here today to discuss the negatives of lowering the legal drinking age in the United States.
According to the CDC, alcohol use disorder affects 18 million Americans. People who start drinking before the age of 15 are 4 times more likely to become alcohol dependent. Alcoholism leads to craving more alcohol than an average person due to built-up tolerance. This craving leads to dependency, the mental state of being unable to operate without constant alcohol consumption. Is this really something we want? Can we permit young people to do all of this? Do the majority of young people have the decision-making skills to determine if and how much they should drink? Young people are also much bigger binge drinkers, according to the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse. Consuming an average of 5 drinks at one time, whereas people over the age of 21 drink approximately 2 drinks at once. Binge drinking causes around 80,000 deaths in the U.S. per year, the majority of which are young people. Young people are dying because of underage drinking as is. Do we want to tell them it's okay? Do we want to allow unknowing children to set themselves on a path of alcoholism and destruction? No, we don't. Lowering the drinking age would lead to a destroyed generation. How could we possibly condone this? Thank you.
Good job, everybody give them another round of applause.
So she can
Okay,
go
go
first.
ahead.
You said also that underage drinkers illegally, they drink near 5 and legal drinkers drink 2 drinks. But that is because since they don't have access to alcohol, they feel like that they should consume as much as they can because they do not get a chance to have it because they're underage according to the United States law.
Do you have proof of this?
Yes,
or
it
is
was
it
on
just
a-
a theory?
No, it was on a website, official website.
We got all of our information.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, hold up. All right.
Martin Luther King did not die for this. He would not want the drinking age to be lowered. Exactly.
Literally.
What?
Okay.
I'm confused.
The teens drinking 5 drinks, that's the parents' responsibility. Because why would they have beer?
It's not the government's
Yeah,
job
it's
to
not the
babysit your
government's job.
kids. You can tell your
Exactly.
kids not to drink alcohol.
What if the parents are not present in the
Yeah,
household?
most
Well,
of these underage. It was
People who allow you to talk.
website.
I am.
I didn't write it down. You should.
It was one of these.
Your audience makes
All these people that are underage drinking early.
Well, that's what's happening.
Oh, fine. Not that big of a deal.
So all of these.
Look at that. Look at that. All right.
Okay. Well, most underage drinkers are going to be drinking at colleges with their friends or in other places. They're not going to be babysat by colleges. So.
Well, also, what about the detrimental effects to your health? Drinking alcohol at a lower age not only does damage to your liver, but also your kidney and your growth.
Do you want to live?
Let me finish! If you aren't even developed enough to make adult decisions in your brain physically, then how do you expect to do it mentally and emotionally when you are actually given the alcohol and the keys to drive the car, which will probably crash because you're so drunk?
It's just medically irresponsible, man.
Age of adulthood.
You have no proof.
People, because that's what you're basically saying too.
Can we talk now? I mean, you're just reading every point off that website.
Hey man, this is my point.
It's a good website, that's what I use.
That's what you use?
Yes, of course.
Quality website.
Alright, so you guys said that them drinking at these bars and these social places would be dangerous. I feel like that would actually be safer than them just drinking back in their, like, let's say they're in college, back in their dorm rooms. Because there's no one around them. Like, let's say they get alcohol poisoning and they pass out, they could just die there. But if someone's out in that social place, they would see them and they would get medical attention.
Hey man, if they're drinking in college, that's not a great choice because you need to be studying. You have to dedicate yourself to school. You can't be drinking.
Are you gonna spend that much money?
Yeah, and then just drink your life away and just die in your dorm because you don't have direct help.
Student loan debt for the rest of your. All right, thank you guys.
You won't never know.
Hello, my name is Maria, and I'm here to say that we need way stricter gun laws, controlling gun laws. No, we are here to tell you that we want to get rid of all of these guns, in general. We just want to make sure that the United States passes a couple more laws to make sure that everyone can be safe through strict gun control laws. Different states and organizations have been experimenting and researching with different age groups to see how they react to guns. Marjorie Sanfilippo has a blog on the usnews.com, and she wrote this little article about this research that was done on children and how they react to guns. And what happened was that after many times of telling the children not to touch the guns, they still touched the guns and, tried to shoot the other kids. And then she started talking about these other children, like small-aged, short kids that have had accidents. Like a 12-year-old killed his math teacher with a gun that he got from his house. A 5-year-old got a rifle for his birthday and then killed his little 2-year-old sister with it. A 5-year-old shot and killed both him and his babysitter using his babysitter's gun. And a 3-year-old shot and killed himself using a gun that he found in his closet, his very own closet. Now, Leslie Marshall, on the other hand, has a blog also on the usnews.com. And it's called Standing Our Ground to Death. And she gives 2 more examples, like how a former police officer had a gun with him and he went to a movie theater. And he saw a guy just texting during the movie. So he confronted him, and since the guy wouldn't confess to texting during the movie, the former police officer just shot him, like straight in the movie theater. Although there weren't any witnesses, people did see that there was the man on the very back row and the police officer, and he is now in a case sentence thing. Another one was that a man shot a 17-year-old boy who was in his daughter's bedroom. And so, really, even if you have a gun, it's all right because you just try to keep a level mind. There are a few laws in Tennessee that don't really help our situation. Like how K through 12 school personnel are allowed to carry guns, like during school, on school property. And that can be very harmful because maybe the person has something wrong, like a mental disorder, and they just kill all the children that annoy them or something. There are a few things that do help with this, like requiring background checks, prohibiting the transfer or possession of assault weapons, requiring firearm dealers to obtain a state license, and requiring gun owners to obtain a license, register the firearms, and report the loss or stolen of their guns, and to limit the number of firearms that can be purchased at one time. All these things that I just mentioned can really help save lives, both here and everywhere. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Benjamin, and I'm anti-gun control. On January 17th, 2014, in Alabama, a family dispute turned into a disaster. At the center of this conflict was an 18-year-old man who became furious in the course of the argument and threatened to beat his brother with a baseball bat before turning on his grandparents with the same threat. He eventually grabbed a knife and threatened to kill everybody in the house, including himself. Fortunately, a neighbor was warned of what was happening and was able to get their legally owned firearm and stop the man from causing any harm. It was later discovered that the man had several warrants out for his arrest. You may have already guessed that Jacob, Gail, and I are on the side of pro-gun rights. As you've seen in the example above, legally owned guns in the hands of law-abiding citizens can stop terrible tragedy from happening. A simple Google search will give you countless more examples of how people have been able to defend themselves from armed robbery, sexual assault, and so forth, simply because they carry a concealed firearm. It's been said before, the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Any amount of laws, limits, or bans on the sale of firearms or ammunition will not stop the criminals that want to get their hands on them. They will turn to the black market with its mysterious and somewhat scary method of getting to buy whatever they would like: knives, drugs, or guns and ammunition. The very least we can do to protect the American populace from this threat against them and their families' welfare, and even life, is to put a surefire way of self-defense into their hands: the right to own a gun. You may be asking the obvious right now. What's to stop lawful gun owners from taking an evil turn and turning their firearms on other innocent civilians? This at first seems a valid point, but you later look at what total gun bans have done in other countries. The United Kingdom, a country much like our own, put a complete ban on guns in their nation. You may think that gun crime has gone down after this, as guns aren't legal. But the UK politics website says just the opposite. It states that the number of gun crimes has increased by 40% since the ban in 1997. It's fairly obvious that the ban is not helping them at all. On top of this, legal gun owners would be even more discouraged to turn their firearms on others, and they know that millions of other Americans are capable of defending themselves against attack with their own firearms. Guns, even left unfired, can have a huge effect on the would-be assailant. A study published in the Journal of Quantitative Criminology actually found that average American citizens use guns to defend themselves and others from crime almost 1 million times a year. That's 1 million rapes, murders, robberies, or assaults avoided because the American populace is legally allowed to own a gun. The figures don't lie. We should keep guns completely legal in America to keep crime down, put off would-be attackers, and keep our children, loved ones, and fellow Americans safe. Thank
you. Good to go. My name is Sky Gallagher, and I am pro-gun control. The reason that we think that guns should not be just given out so willy-nilly as they are, what we're doing is we're not trying to take away all the hunting rifles and the hand pistols that everyone has a right to have. Like, if you want a shotgun in your house that can shoot like maybe 2 bullets, you have a right to that. You can protect your kid. What we don't want is like machine guns in the hands of people, because then things like Columbine happen where you can go into a school and mow down 30 people just because you have this crazy killing weapon that no person should have unless you're going into war. And if we were to control guns, like if you were to have a background check for a gun, then no person with like a mental illness such as depression should be able to get a gun. Because if we were to stop people with depression from getting guns, that would decrease our suicide rates very greatly, because then they would have to go through a lot more trouble to kill themselves besides just going out and buying a gun and shooting themselves in the head. So that would make our country look better in overall standings, and it's nice not to have someone killing themselves every day. And also, there's also the risk of just ignorant people handling guns. there are 3,800 people in unintentional gunfires that just die. Like, if you have a gun in your son's closet, as Maria stated, and he finds it, and he's just playing around with it, and it doesn't already have the safety on, your 3-year-old son's dead. So you really need to keep your guns safe and controlled. So it just seems like an obvious thing that you would want, not to have your son dead. And then guns are involved in 11,078 homicides a year, and that is 68% of all homicides. So it seems like if you were to take away the major guns that are they are really good at killing people, then that would lower that rate considerably. We don't want to take away your recreational guns and all your fun, because we all know that America loves its handguns and its hunting rifles, because we are a fairly redneck country that does enjoy hunting quite a bit, but we can't stop people with hunting rifles from still killing people, but I do think it would lower the rates considerably.
It's a capsule full of
Hey, Sky, can I borrow your phone?
That's what 0226.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dale Manaxa, and I'm here to tell you about making and enforcing more laws will not help gun control. Government talks about reducing gun violence. Instead, they are attacking our constitutionally guaranteed rights to bear arms by tightening gun control laws, and it will not work. According to listverse.com, there are 88 guns for every 100 people in the United States, not including the illegal weapons, and 300 million privately owned guns. The government shouldn't control 42% of Americans have, according to Gallup statistics. For the year 2013, Chicago's murder count is 374. There were 432 murder count in 2010 and 500 in 2012. The FBI has named Chicago the nation's murder capital. The city ordinance did nothing to reduce its murder rate. We've also heard the black market. Studies show that criminals obtain their guns illegally, which allows them to bypass specific background checks and regulations enforced through new laws. Currently, gun owners must be 21 or older, wait for a 14-day period, and take a gun safety course. The opposing side talked about safety. Now, did any of this stop Adam Lanza from stealing guns and murdering 20 innocent children and 6 guiltless adults at the Newtown shooting? Additional gun laws are difficult to enforce in these situations and would not have done anything to prevent this tragedy. There are always other ways that people can kill loved ones and yourself, as in guns, poisons, and knives. Based on these facts, we believe that creating and enforcing gun control laws will not work. Thank you.
Hey everybody. I'm going to talk about, again, for the 3rd time, why we should have more laws for gun control. They said something about the right in the Second Amendment that we have to bear arms. Really, what the Second Amendment says is it's a right to a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. So it's not saying we have a right to bear arms. It's not saying that we have a right